All right, so my son did pass the silver level of Eiken Jr. We haven't got the certificate yet. I think it usually takes like a month or two till it arrives. But I'll show you the study materials that we use here. So the book again comes with a CD, some stickers for motivation as you go through. Then it has some very similar information to before, like with the what you find in the house, in the city, what kind of jobs there are, things that you do at school. So there's a lot of things that they just sort of go through in more detail or give you more examples of, like more types of jobs, more things in the city, and so on. But the major difference that I thought came up was this alphabet. They finally teach you the alphabet. And by finally, I mean it's only the second test, so it's not that late. So instead of just vocabulary, you learn the ABCs. And even though like everybody seems to say there's 26 letters in the alphabet, a lot of these are very different um, than the big ones and the small ones, like A, E, G. These are very different letters going on here, Q and stuff, right? They don't even really look the same. There's others that like V here. It's looks exactly the same, I guess, but or W or X, Z, Z, whichever. Some of these look very, very similar to the larger letters, but when you think about it, and you have to use them differently, although on this level of the test you don't really have to use them. I guess there's technically like 52 letters in the English alphabet, and then there's symbols and stuff too. But for letters, I would say 52, because it can get confusing. And I've seen a lot of people complain about how Japanese symbols can look very similar, but if we break this down, like take a look at the small letter for B, and then the small letter for P, and then the small letter for Q, and then we also have the small letter for D over here as well. They're all just like flipped around in some way, right? And then I and J, the small ones, look similar, and the big I and small L look basically the same. J and L are kind of like reverses. So if you look at this from like the perspective of somebody who's first learning English and has never seen these letters before, I think it can be pretty confusing. But the good thing is, for the silver level, they just want you to understand what the first letter in specific words are and what kind of sound it might make, even though the sound can be very different for different words. So the book also includes these cards here: eat, shoes, triangle, square, bag, drink. And on the other side of the cards, there's a picture. So say donut, and you say donut, okay. Or you have just the D sound, and you try and get the kid to guess, and they can use all these cards to try and figure out what all these things are. I just looked at this and I thought orange, and it's a circle, but it's an orange circle. So onion starts with an O. Read or red. Read could be either. One of the confusing things that might come up in English, right? Read, red, same spelling, but I guess this happens in other languages too. So yeah, so these cards, learning the alphabet, it's a huge step in the Eiken Jr. Silver. Let's just take a quick look at what kind of things. So the days of the week, months of the year, and the 4 seasons we go over those. And I'll just quickly go through this, and then we'll take the test in the same video so that we don't have to separate them into multiple videos. So yeah, overall, it's the same basic sort of setup, and the biggest difference, as I mentioned, is what we just had there, the alphabet. So we will go over that soon. All right, here is the website. So silver, maybe we'll just go in order this time. So we start with the which book or which image looks like what they're trying to say here.
1番
We're studying.
2番
We're dancing.
So they're clearly not dancing.
3番
We're singing.
They're clearly not singing either. So we're studying. Again, with some of these, all you really need is just one keyword, even on the silver, and you should be fine.
1番
There's a zebra.
Okay, it's clearly not a
2
zebra.
番
There's a dolphin.
That's probably what we're at.
3番
There's a goose.
I think it's a dolphin.
できたね!
All right, let's go on to the next set of problems here. What's going on here? So this is response, responding.
Take this medicine after lunch.
1番
Okay, I will.
2番
Oh, it's me.
Okay, so it's much more complicated because we need to know how to respond. It's something kind of similar, I think, in the bronze level, but not quite the same. So this is pretty new as well. Sort of understanding if what you say makes sense in comparison with or in relation to what the other person said. So this person says, take these lunch, and if you say it's me, you know, that doesn't make any sense grammatically. So whether you should take these random pills or not is a different question, but you know, grammatically you need to know that the first one makes more sense. But these are only, you know, 2 options, so I don't think it's too bad.
Take care.
1番
I see.
2番
Thank you.
So usually in these questions, I found that if somebody is saying like goodbye or here you go or anything, like most of the time you just say thank you. Is a good rule of thumb for the test. But of course, you know, you want to understand why that makes sense. It's a good rule too.
できたね!
Okay, next we have you want to pick, I guess, things that sort of fit into specific categories here. And here it says at the bottom that there will be 2 answers for this one here.
Earth. Moon.
Okay, so it doesn't look like there's a moon.
Grapefruit.
I don't think that's a grapefruit. No,
Watermelon.
it's probably a watermelon. So these kind of questions, they actually give you unnecessary information as keywords as well, which again is a pretty big step up from bronze, I think, the way that they ask you, right? So they said earth, moon is still related, but not in the images. So you might be like, oh wait, what does moon mean? Is number 2 the moon? I'm not sure. So being able to determine if something is actually there or not. And in my son's case, there was some that, you know, temporarily confused him, because the first one, he'd be like, okay, it's there. The second one, he'd hear it and he'd be looking for it. And he'd be like, I can't find it. And then the voice would give him another one, and it's still making sense. All right, next we have a 3-hint quiz, very similar to what we had before, but maybe the questions or the hints are a bit more difficult here.
I'm wearing long boots.
Long boots. Okay, we
I'm
got
standing on a box.
2 people, 1 guy on a
My
box.
hat is a triangle.
Triangle hat.
Who
Okay.
am I?
So, um, just long boots. We have at least 2 people here, right? Standing on a box. I mean, I guess this is a box. It's only 1 person, and a triangle hat. Again, only 1 person. So it's not a huge step up from bronze, I think, at this point.
My cap is red. I'm standing under a tree. I'm cleaning up. Who
Okay.
am I?
So, like I said in the bronze video, they always call these hats caps. So, the red cap, right? The red cap, and I guess this is a purple cap. So, keyword, you need to really catch on to, I guess, both red and cap in just the first one there, right? And in this specific question, it looks like it's hard to tell if these are men or women some of the times, like this one at the bottom right. I'm not sure, but there's already 3 red caps, right? So let's listen to that
My
one more
cap is red.
time. Cap is red.
I'm standing under a tree.
Standing under a tree. There's 2 over
I'm
here.
cleaning up.
Cleaning up.
Who
So,
am I?
I mean, if you catch cleaning up, we only have 1 person, so it's not too bad. But, red cap, there's 2 people under a tree. There's also 2 people. So the situation is definitely harder than bronze. I think the information that you can use for various different hints. Okay, here's the biggest difference here, and being able to understand, especially because like the C, this is being difficult to explain to my son. The C sound in English, it can be a K, it could be the same as a K sound, or it can be the same as an S sound, or when mixed with like an H or something, a CH sound is different. So I think it's going to take a while to really grasp that concept there. But let's listen to how these questions are.
Scissors. Sink. Spoon.
So if you get the S sound, like the snake S sound, I said the answer there, you'll figure out that it's S. But these kind of questions were, I think, pretty tough at first from the grasp until he, there's some that he would catch on to, like P is for panda. So if there's a picture of a panda, he'd know immediately that it was the P letter.
できたね
Okay, so that we only had 1 question there for some reason, but I think that's maybe the biggest and I would say the most valuable section in the Eiken Jr. Silver that I think kids should spend a lot of time learning the alphabet, so they know how to spell words and they're able to sound them out and eventually read. I think in gold there might actually be some reading, but I haven't really looked at it yet. So let's go on to the next one. So which image are they describing here?
There are some presents on the floor.
Okay, presents are on the floor. So you need to know what presents are. And there's presents in both images. So where are the presents, right? They're on the floor, so it's 2. These questions, I think, gave him some difficulty because both images are essentially showing the same situation, but then they give something different in one of them. All right, let's listen to the next one here. Okay.
The children are sitting around a square table.
So here we go. There's kids in, I guess they're all kids here. So 4 kids, and they're sitting around a square table. And especially because, let's listen to that one more time. And just, if you're listening to this video that we're going over, you can probably understand everything that's going on. But think of it again as this is your first time learning English. You only know a few words, or if you sort of like replace that with a language you're not familiar with.
The children are sitting around a square table.
I think this one's quite hard, especially because they say sitting around. And, if you're not used to that and you just hear around, around sounds kind of like round, right? So even if it's not the word circle, it sounds like round. So I think at this point the kids have probably learned. Like even I have cards for both of them right here, square and circle. So there's also triangle, but square, circle, triangle. Those you'll learn those, which is good. But sitting around sounds like round, and we also had the word round come up in bronze, so we know round is a circular shape. So, and sit around sounds like a circular shape, right? Which I think is very confusing. But then they say square table, so you really need to catch on to that square table part and understand the difference here. Square table, okay.
できたね
Okay, now we listen to someone talking about something and try and figure out which is accurate. So they'll probably say something like on, in, under, or something like that. And we'll have to catch that keyword. So these questions, I think, are heavily focused on keywords once again.
What should I do?
You should look under your bed.
So this, a fortune teller is telling this kid, you gotta look under your bed. There's probably something bad under there. I don't know. But again, in, on, under, and she said under, so here's this a fortune teller, I guess. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but let's listen.
Anything else?
I see a key falling down a hole too.
Okay, so there's a key in all of these, falling down a hole. So some of these words I think are they've got hole, probably sounds like a lot of different words. Vacuum might be a little bit difficult just as a word itself. And like fountain, I don't know if it comes up very often. So this one might be kind of tough just knowing what the words are. But if you catch the key word, and that's not a pun on key here, catch the key word, falling down a hole. Hole, I guess, the key word.
Anything else?
I see a key falling down a hole too.
Then you should be able to get it.
できたね
All right, next, we are asking about multiple events that occur. So here we choose two answers.
How about you, Yuki? Can you take care of the dog?
Sure, I'll give him food.
Anything else?
I'll wash him too.
So give him food, wash him. So understanding these sorts of things, this is mostly keywords. I would say food, wash. These ones usually aren't too hard, but there's plenty of situations. But usually the difference between the situation is pretty big. Like if they said, for example, eat shoes or something. Eat shoes. That would be kind of confusing, right? So, just trying to figure out exactly what's going on and make sure that the image lines up there. What do we got next? Okay, so now we're asking, they will often have two questions using the same situation, and the same answer can be used multiple times, so you can't think about it like a regular test. But this time it says there's only one answer, so let's listen.
We're going to get a dog.
Really? Great!
Can you take care of him, Takeshi?
Yes, I'll take him for a walk.
Okay, kind of a longer conversation that we're listening to now. But, you know, the dog is only walking, I guess, in this one image. So knowing what a walk is and catching on to that, not getting distracted during the conversation.
できたね
All right, so what do we got here? Okay, we have another one sort of teaching us spelling, kind of. They also have the images for all of these, so it's not a. This one's actually, I think, gives you 2 hints, sort of. They have both the image and the spelling. So if you know the first letter of these words, or, if you've gone ahead in spelling and already know how these words are spelled, it's even easier then. And then you also have the image to back it up. So I think this is, I would say, very good for studying, but not too tough for tests.
Town.
Town. So we have the T sound, which is in 2 of these, but hopefully not a lot of people living in number 6. So we go number 3.
Toilet.
Toilet, we got the T sound again. Hopefully less people living in this one.
できたね
All right. So just like before, we've got this.
Whoops! It became a koala. Do you like it?
It became a
1番
koala.
Yes, I like it.
2番
No, I don't like koalas.
So this is a very odd situation, I guess. Something turned into a koala, and you can say that you like it or you don't like koalas. So it doesn't seem like the kind of animal that most people taking the test would have had a lot of experience with, to the point of disliking them. I don't know. And again, this is, I haven't mentioned it here yet, but this challenge corner, same as on the bronze test, this isn't actually towards any points. So you could say, yes, I like the koala, or let's actually pick no, I don't like the koala. And it won't make any difference. They'll just say, so, okay, tell us what animal you do like then. So, and you don't actually have to do that.
What do you think about my magic?
1番
It was wonderful.
All right, let's tell them.
2番
I'd like to try it.
Oh, that's a interesting second option. I thought they were just gonna make fun of him or something. So I'd like to try it, right? Again, these last challenge corner questions, they have absolutely no effect on the score on the test.
できたね
So we have gone through the silver now, and my son passed silver. I think he got 90%. If you sign up for the tests online, they give you the results immediately after the test is done, and then the certificate that you get will be mailed out within like a few weeks, probably take a month or 2 to arrive, and I'll show you when it arrives from my son. And maybe we'll take a look at the gold, even though it might be another few months until he actually takes the gold test. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and remember to level up, and also remember not to eat your shoes.